The Varn Broadcasting Corporation is funded by viewers like you. Thank you. And now we have VBC News with your host, Wengo Pigus.
Hello, Eldham, and welcome to the Varn Broadcasting Corporation. I'm Wengo Pigus, where we are coming to you live to listen to this week's news of what's happened across the world of Eldham. We're excited to create this form of news for people within all nations so they know what's happening within their world. Without further ado, we'll begin by discussing how our little operation works here in the VBC. The VBC is a new broadcasting service to benefit the people with an understanding of how things flow within the world. Do bear in mind we've only just begun this here recently, so mistakes are bound to happen. So please alleviate us as we're trying to give you the news. We have several stories within the span of a week, with 3 main stories and several smaller stories to cover. To clarify, small stories do not mean they have less significance to the main stories. It's the length we've put into them that it refers to. That being said, we shall begin with our first main story of the week. Aristios has been in the highlight once again, as its territory has been placed over dispute since Otto Alia declared its insurrection against the Vatican. More to this case, we have Yuri Agavan on the case. Yuri?
This week has been a disaster for the Vatican, as integrating the former nation of Aristios has become somewhat of a challenge. Otto Alea's rebellion has been at the hard point of the problem, as this wasn't the first time the history books referred back to his name. As Vatican joins with Ashai, the tensions between the Crown Lands and Aristios make things only sour. He managed to gain a small interview with the Rat King to discuss his views on the situation.
My view on the Aristides situation, to keep it as less nerdy and hostile as possible, it's just pretty I would say pretty weird, I guess. Weird and just unorganized and confusing because I don't know. It had started off as something that we thought was gonna be like simple and fun, and then forges came along, the lights came along, like the tactics, the snake, all that. It was just a whole lot of like stuff, you know.
Even the Emperor's Hand from Varn managed to give us his views on the situation, stating, I see the situation within Aristios as a publicity stunt by Otto Alea. He is not fighting for the Aristi spirit of culture, he is fighting for the betterment of himself and for power. Otto is a dictator who should not be allowed to rule under any circumstances, and I commemorate Ashai for standing up to this bully. With the Crown Lands preparing for the worst case scenario, we can only say that the situation would change dramatically at any time. This is Yuri Ogvin from VBC News.
Today I'm joined by Quercus, the Speaker of Ashai. How are you, Quercus?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. Now, as you know, there's a situation happening in Aristios with a surrection. What's your opinion on that?
My general opinion is that I think that with time it'll sort itself out. Because as far as the government of Ashai is concerned, war isn't what we want. And we're like actively working to try to have a timely and civil conclusion to the conflict.
Mm-hmm. And how does your job tie to that?
My job, not it doesn't directly tie to it. Since of course I don't deal with like foreign diplomacy, but I definitely I'm definitely involved in the sense that like I have to go out and do that outreach with the people of Aristios as citizens of the Vatican and as citizens of Ashai. So definitely involved as like a servant of those people, but as far as like dealing with the conflict itself, I'm not as directly involved.
Alrighty. How exactly is the government responding to the situation as it unfolds?
So you said how are we dealing with the conflict as it unfolds, and I think that that really sums up the nature of the conflict itself, and that it's constantly changing, and it's very complicated. So the government of Ashai, we're just crossing bridges when we get there, if you know what I mean. We are just kind of
Mm.
doing what we can when we can, but as far as like working with Otto Alea and the rebels, there's new things every day. So we're just kind of doing what we can.
Mm. And what exactly do you reckon will happen once this whole thing is blown over, blown up, or anything in between?
I'm hopeful that we can eventually reach a peaceful conclusion, either either with like some sort of settlement where Aristios exists, but just the small individual territories that they won, or
Follow-up question to the one previously. What's going to happen to the person responsible for this insurrection?
I think that the outcome and like possible punishments to those individuals, specifically like Otto, I can't really foresee what will happen at this point currently, because like I said, it's always changing, and like our power is limited. Like if we can't exactly like punish them with our laws if they don't recognize them, and also like punishments like that, and with a situation like of such a large scale as this is, it's up to the discretion of the emperors. So that's above my pay grade.
Alrighty. Well, thank you very much for coming on to the show today.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Recently, the Kingdom of Montrim announced the death of King Sebi Aurelian. He was found dead Saturday morning in Ayrshire with a written account of him stating he wished not to continue his reign on the throne. The cause of death is being investigated, but potentially from an infection. As of now, Regent Mr. Pancakius has become the head of state. After a full year on the throne, Telix has decided to step down from the throne of Dracul. This was announced by Kafko I, who is now the new king. Dracul is one of the oldest nations within Eldham, and they believe that they are still as strong as ever. Now we go to our next main story of the broadcast. Sylvania is having some type of conundrum. The story was made by Ardure Thorvine and voiced by Phelan Lancaster.
Recently this week, Sylvania gained another province from absorbing a nation. The nation once known as Ardure came into Sylvania as a core province and changed its name to the Commonwealth of Rosewald Glades. This nation was absorbed with barely any mention from Sylvania or otherwise, and the whole situation is still shrouded in mystery. All we know is Slidling was involved and Ardure is changing and rebranding under the Sylvanian flag. Phelan Lancaster, Arbiter Story, VBC News. So I'm afraid this is all we've got this week. Yeah, it's a bit of a bummer. We decide to broadcast ourselves as a news service and we haven't even finished what we've done. But the idea is out there, and we're happy that the idea is out there, no matter what. Sure, we didn't cover all the stories that we wanted to, but we just didn't have the time to meet our deadlines and quotas that we wanted to. But next week, fresh news, and we're happy to just continue on with that. And without further ado, to the people who are watching, thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. We hope to know your input and see what other stuff that we can come up with. And if we got anything wrong, then we got something wrong. That's just how it is. We're new. It's all new. First time trying this. I think it went pretty well, to be honest. So, I'll let you listen to that catchy theme tune again, because I found it quite catchy myself. So, please do enjoy.